Good afternoon, and welcome to Morning Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blood Pride, and this is my cat, Kream, the co-host of the channel. Hi, Kream. Yeah, you want some loves? You always want some loves. Getting your freaking cat hair all over me. Did you have to do that? Huh? Was that a requirement? All right. So first off, this is Transformers United Strongarm, and Strongarm is he's from 2015. Robots in Disguise, the one for kids, the one that doesn't make any sense with the whole Prime thing, the one that's got the Grimlock in it that is not Grimlock. Yeah. It was an absolutely terrible show in my opinion. I didn't like it. I didn't even finish the first season of it, but I heard this transforms into a pickup truck, and I thought, well, I don't have enough pickup trucks. All I got is Cup as a pickup truck, and so that's what we're doing today. We're covering Strongarm from 2015, and I'm going to be so happy when this stupid packaging is gone. I hate this packaging, and it isn't the hole in the packaging that I hate. It's the fact that they used some of the cheapest card stock in the world to make this. Packaging for Transformers used to be better. I was accepting of the loss of plastic so long as we still had a good box, a box that could protect it. But this isn't a good box. This is a crap box, and I'm glad they're going away. And I hope the Prime boxes for next season's Transformers line are made of some better quality goods. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna set this guy over here off to the side, and let's do a size comparison first off and foremost. All right, and by the way, if you want to help me raise awareness for the visually impaired and the blind, and you want to help me reach more visually impaired and blind, please go below and hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I am trying to build something bigger than myself here on this channel, trying to reach out and help people. So if you know anybody in your life who's losing vision, recommend this channel to them. Maybe they'll find something in my channel that will help them. I hope so. And I'm trying not to sneeze because of my wisdom teeth surgery, but he put his face all in my face. Oh man, Kream, you're such a fat. All right, size comparison time. We've got Earthrise Cliffjumper versus Transformers United Robots in Disguise 2015 Strongarm. That's a mouthful. Cliffjumper's head, top of it. Actually, we'll just lay the top of his backpack. Goes midway up the chest, almost to the top of the chest for Strongarm right here. Actually, right there to the right to the neck level. Yeah. Side by side comparison. Strongarm can kind of raise her arm up, but not very far. And I think Strongarm is a female Transformer. I may be wrong. Correct me if I am. Yeah. Can't really raise the arm up too much to do that, and we'll talk about that when we review the figure, but let's just compare. So the top of Cliffjumper's shoulder here goes up midway up the bicep of Strongarm here. Now we're going to put them back to back. Let's turn you around, Mr. Cliffjumper. There we go. And back-to-back comparisons. There we are. They both have about the same size backpack, or at least the same thickness backpack. And yeah, we're going to set Cliffjumper off to the side. We're done with him. Now let's get into the review. So for today, I'll go over the articulation. I'm going to go over the textures and the sculpt work. I'm going to talk about pros and cons, what I like about it, what I dislike about it. But I'm not going to mention paint. I'm not going to mention anything like that because here at this channel, we're not about that stuff. We're not about the stuff that's pleasing to the eye. We're about the stuff that's pleasing to the hand. This is a hands-on review by all definitions of the term. So without further ado, let's get to the review. And I always start from the feet. You always start at the feet, at least in my opinion. The feet are always a good spot. So first off, even though this foot seems like it's got 2 siege ports in it, there's a bit of waffling around the edges of it. I think they could have filled that plastic in, at least in the front and the back area, to make these ports more pronounced. and look nice. Instead, we've got this waffled gap going on there. And these, of course, will be visible in vehicle mode. So that's why I'm like, really? You couldn't have filled these spots in? Oh well. But it is neat that there are two siege ports. This is a rework of the Aleeta-1 mold and the Minerva mold. And this is a retool of that mold, and that's why I got it, because it's not just a repaint. I mean, I got Minerva because it was Minerva. But I got Aleeta-1 because, I mean, I needed a good Aleeta-1, and the one from Earthrise is absolute garbage. The one from Siege is absolute garbage. The RC mold from Earthrise is absolute garbage. Just don't do it. Don't waste your money. I found this one on sale for $11. Not too shabby. So I think it's a decent Christmas present item for under $20. If you can still find it for under $20, I recommend. I think it's about worth that price. So let's get into talking about this. So sculpt work at the top of the feet isn't too bad. You get some really nice things going on. It feels like they actually have some sort of shoe. I think that's neat. There's some smooth textures on either side, and in the center, it's a different type of texture. It's really cool. On the front of the leg, we've got very minimalistic texturing going on here. There's a little bit in there, but mainly it just feels like they globbed the paint on there. It's really smooth. It feels really shiny. I like it. I like the texture there. And then on the exterior of the leg, we have the wheel with the spike in the middle that we got with Aleeta-1 and Minerva. They didn't change the wheel design. And honestly, I'm glad they didn't, because these are one of the few wheels that doesn't have some sort of weird pin or little thing sticking into it. It's actually got a nice hubcap, and I always love that. There's a siege port right there below the wheel too. This thing doesn't have many of those. Two on the feet, on each foot, so that's 4, and then one on the bottom of each leg, right above the ankle, so that makes 6. Spinning around here to the back, we see that there's not much gappage on the back of the leg. It's actually really sleek. That is really well done. Not much going on there, but it doesn't feel like it's cluttered. There's a little waffling on the interior of the leg, but on the exterior of the back of the leg, we get nothing like that, and I love that. I think that's really nice. Coming up here to the thighs, we actually get a little bit of thigh texturing going on. There's some sort of like little circle thing on the side, and there's not really much more texturing going on, but there is some insane waffling on the back of the thigh. Unless, actually, that's not waffling. That's textures in there. I think that's actually just something about the character design, because there's these little loops that go across, but inside there's texture. So this isn't waffling. You would think it's waffling, but why would they put those textures into it if it was waffled? I think that's meant to be. That isn't a cost-cutting measure. So that's kind of neat. It's almost a waffle, but it's not a waffle. All right, now we're moving up here to the front area, the groin armor. Just decent texture there. Nice little textures, pretty good. Got a little belt textured on them, going all the way around to the back. The back of the groin area, not too bad either. We've got that's really well done. Though there's a there's a hint of a butt, and that one does weird me out. But not too shabby, not too shabby there. Now, articulation wise, down here, but from legs to waist, the ankles can tilt, typical ankle tilt. Legs fold at knee at a 90-degree angle. There's no double jointing here. Leg goes up 90 degrees, goes back 45 degrees, goes sideways 90 degrees, and has a thigh swivel that's not too great. Actually, no, that's just articulation there at the top. I think that's maybe a ball joint, but you can actually articulate the leg to go sideways. That's pretty neat. It's not a full rotation. I'd say it's a rotation of a little more than 90 degrees, an 80-degree rotation. No, 100-degree rotation. That's probably it. Maybe. Yeah, it goes there and it goes there. So it's just past the 12 o'clock. I'd say it's at like 11:55 when the foot is tilted towards the center of the robot, towards the other foot, and then it goes all the way around. I'd say to about, what is that? Yeah, about 2:55, because that's not directly a 3 o'clock position. I'd say it's 2:55. So it goes from 11:55 on the clock to 2:55 on the clock. Pretty cool. Now, moving up here to the upper area, we've got some really unique textures going on in here. We've got something like their, there's this cut right in the center of their chest area, like they're showing off cleavage or something like that. And yeah, it's not too shabby. There's hint of there's some robot textures down there in the bottom area. Really well done. And then up here at the top, we've got some more, but it's very smooth. It's very, very sleek. Sorry about that. Sinuses are still draining from the wisdom tooth surgery. Moving up here, we've got the upper shoulder area, and we'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about the head first. So the head here, can look down, all right, can look up a little bit, not even really look up at all. They can't crack their head left or right. They can kind of spin their head. No, they can't spin it 360, but they kind of get 360, and that's about it. Now the textures here are really interesting. There's these two little antenna things coming up off the top of the crest of the helmet on either side, like two little horns. And then there's two more that come off on either side as well. But on one side, they seem to be a little cowlick, like they come out and then they stick out just a bit. But on the other side, they seem to be more swept back. It's kind of feels like no, they're equal. Both sides are equal. It's just odd. Like, okay, so there seems to be at the bottom of her face another sort of antenna thing that comes on either side of her cheeks and goes up and ends in some points that represent her ears, I guess. And then at the top, we've got these two little horns that are swept back on either side, connected to the crest in the helmet. Then we have down here, we've got a decent nose, kind of a nose, a hint of a nose. Not really much more than that. And then there's a hint of a mouth in there. Very, very small, very, very small, but it's there. All right, onward to the side here. We've got some tail lights going on there. You can feel the textures of tail lights. I love that they included the textures there. I love the textures. And then at the top, it's smooth and sleek. It feels really good, like polished steel. On the side, we've got more polishing going on here. Feels more like polished steel. And then around the wheel well here, we have more little textures, just small ones. Little, they feel like they may be rivets. And I think that's just neat. Yeah, they are. There's one there, and there's one there, and there's one there, and there's one over here. Yeah, 4 little rivets connecting the wheel well to the shoulder housing. And I think that's cool. That is a neat little piece of detail. And that's why I love these figures. That's why I'm loving what they're doing with Transformers these days. It's the attention to the small details when it comes to the sculpting and molding that I, as a blind person, really appreciate. It's something that I enjoy about these figures, and that's why I showcase them for more blind people to find and more visually impaired people to find. It's just normal people to find, because these are good. They're little works of art. And we come over here to the upper arm, and the upper arm is very hidden by this big old shoulder housing thing, and there's not really much texture going on in that upper arm anyway. They've definitely hidden that one away. Lower arm, we've got this big old clunky armor on the outside of her arm, and it's also very smooth and sleek feeling. We don't really have anything else going on there, but there are a few more rivets, what it feels like rivets, going across the side there. They're too small to tell, but there is a rough texture, like there's smaller rivets connecting this little armor piece onto the other armor piece, and there's some sort of what feels like it's almost a siege port, but it feels like it may be too small for a siege port on the forearm. And then of course we've got the hands, and the hands do rotate 180 degrees. The the only thing on this robot that rotates 180 degrees is the hands. Now they do have a gun they come with, and it's like a really cool pistol. I like this pistol, and they can rotate it, and of course they can go full intimidation mode, and like turn it sideways. Oh snap! The gun turned sideways. I was watching that Cell and Kermit the Frog video the other day where they do a Pokemon. and Kermit had a Pikachu with a gun. I loved it. It was hilarious. So, oh, there's even these little cool winglets on the shoulders. I mean, on the elbows. Like she's got elbow spike pads. So this thing, she can just drop down and elbow you, and that feels like it would do some damage. That is a nice melee weapon in her elbow. That is really sharp. Yeah, yeah, she can mess some Decepticons up with that elbow. All right, now we turn around here to the back, and in the back we've got the vehicle mode stuff all folded up. There's no siege port visible, and the light bar does not move. That is a stationary light bar that is glued to the figure. Chase had a stationary light bar, and Earthrise Optimus Prime had a stationary light bar. I don't think any other Transformers I have in the Generations lines have stationary light bars. You can remove the rest of them, and I am going to say that takes a point off for not having a removable accessory. I like the removable light bar accessory. I think it's a fun one, and it's more fun than the Matrix one. It's just nice. It's nice to have it, and this one is a very nice feeling light bar. We've got some really good textures there. Feels like it's glass. And then the center one is a different texture. It's not as smooth. It is kind of smooth, but it feels like they used a different little paint or something on it. It's neat. Anyway, my overall rating for this robot mode. I definitely think that it is a bit of an improvement on the Aleeta-1 mold. And I want to say that it seems like it's the Aleeta-1 mold merged with the Earthrise Aleeta-1 mold a little bit. I think this is where we're seeing some blending of molds going on here, but there's not too much. The only reason I mentioned the Earthrise thing is because this girl is almost a shell former. But my overall rating of this figure is I would give them a robot mode wise. They'll get a they'll get a 6 out of 10. I think a 6 out of 10 is pretty good for this one. She's not the worst, but neither is she the best. She kind of just sits there in the middle as a good filler robot, I think. But I've enjoyed her. I think that finding her for below $20 is the right move to make. And yeah, really nice figure overall. Really fun. And I think she'll work out pretty well with my Robots in Disguise collection, even though she's from the 2015 version. All right, well, I've been Blind Prime, and this has been Kream da Cat, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I hope you enjoyed listening to it or viewing it. And once again, please hit the like button, comment below, and tell me, what do you think of the Aleeta-1 mold? Are you happy with it? The new one? Did you like the older one better? Let me know in the comments below. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.